Okay, welcome to the start of my Excel recording videos. We're going to go over how to use this spreadsheet here. So you can watch this back on your own time and figure out how to do them. So there's these four modules, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to start by looking at module 5. You can find them. The links also go to these sheets down at the bottom here, but go from the index to navigating. Okay, so we're learning how to navigate in Excel. Kind of explains that here, but you can kind of scroll around, use your mouse, move around, and that's kind of intuitive, but maybe there's some keyboard shortcuts that you can use. So that's kind of what we're going to learn in this little section here. So one is that you can hold down Control in a block of numbers or data or whatever and jump from edge to edge. So that's what this example one is having you do is if I just use an arrow key, I move one at a time. But if I'm at an edge and I hold Control, I can jump between edges and edges. So now I'm kind of going around the corners and I could go down here and jump to the edge and there you go. If I'm at this edge and I go to the right again, it's going to put me to the end of the spreadsheet, super far away, but I can get back by just holding Control and hitting that arrow key again. And so then we've completed this example, bouncing around, bouncy, bouncy, so we can check this off. Example 2, kind of the same, but now you're going to hold down Control and follow this yellow brick road to the end, and this is much faster with these arrow keys and Control than if you were to try to do that with your mouse. And now we can see a little Emerald City drawing, and we can complete this example. Okay. For number types, Excel has many different types of numbers. So just by default, we can fill in the sequence here and we'll see, oh, good, we got that one right. These are just like regular general numbers. And then this is going to pop up when we get our pattern correct. So there's just counting by ones, twos, and threes here. Nothing too special. So this is 20. If I get it wrong, say I put 4, it's going to say try again. I try again. 6, good. Okay, that's just a general number. So if you do nothing, that's what you're going to get are these guys. Those happen to all be whole numbers, but Excel can also do decimals, fractions, percentages, currency, dates, and more. You can kind of see up here, there's sort of a bunch of the main number formats, and then there's even more if you really dive into it of things that you can do, accounting and fractions and scientific notation and all kinds of things. So we'll just look at a few of those. So a normal general number, 5, good, done. So if I just type 3 here, since it's already formatted to a number, oh, so 4, it's going to add those decimals for me and give me a couple decimal places. And I can change how many it shows with this little buttons at the top here, and we can show lots of decimals there, and that's still the same number that it stores it as. So here we've got percentages. I type in 3, I get 3%. That's great. But one thing to know is that this was pre-formatted to a percentage. If I don't pre-format it, like say this one's just a general 3, and then I convert it to a percentage, it's going to get weird, and it's going to go 300% because it's always going to be relative to that 100%. And so if I convert this back to general, what I would want to do is like a 0.03. If I convert that to a percentage, that'll give me that 3% or 3.0%. I could make that shorter, fewer, and there's my 3%. So that's something to watch out for. Here, if I just enter 6, it's going to assume 6th of January for a date. Dates can be more complicated, but in this case, pretty simple. It knows it's a date. If I put, say, 40, it's going to count from the start of the year and give me a date in February. So the 40th day of the year is the 9th of February. The 300th day of the year is 26 October. 364th day of the year is near the end of December. But so just a 6. And then currency, again, is pretty simple. I put in a number, it just adds a dollars for me. And it knows that that's currency. So for this example, we're going to say if these are equal or not. So 450, 450% seems equal, but 450 is actually 45,000%, right? It's times 100, so this is going to be not equal. Good. Right, and then there's this note here telling you that half is 50% is 0.5, not 50. 200 and 200.00 number and general formats are typically equal. For dollars, pretty simple, also equal. It's just adding the dollars. For a date, I don't think these are going to be equal, right? And that seems obvious, but you might get this 0.33 by just entering 1/3. We got a date format over here, so sometimes it'll assume date. Sometimes, yeah, there we go. If we type 1/3, it's going to go date, so it's going to give you January 3rd. But you might want a 0.33 instead, right? And if you're just typing 1/3, it's not going to give you that 0.33. So these are not equal, and that's just something to be aware of. 12th October and 44,116, clearly not equal. So we'll try again. So the other thing about dates is that I said earlier it starts counting from the beginning of the year. It can also start counting from the beginning of the year 1900. And so the 44,116th day since the start of the year 1900 is the 12th of October 2020. So we can see the 10, 12, 2020 up here. So these are actually equal in the way that Excel stores it. Not really that important, but useful if you want to know how Excel stores the information. Now 1/4, 0.25, these I think are going to be equal, right? They seem equal, yes. But it's kind of hard to get this fraction because like we said, it could be a date. If you look up here, it's actually storing it as 0.25. It stores it as the decimal. You just have to go and take your 0.25 and convert it back to a fraction. Then you'll get that to display as 1/4. So that's our little equal table and some number types. And I've kind of shown it a little bit, but you might be wondering, how do I change this? How do I change these number types? I showed you how to do it kind of like up here is one way. So I could make this 0.45 into a percentage. I can make this 243 into currency. Some of them just are right there already. So like the currency and percentage, or this is accounting actually, even just a little different. And then a date, I could do a long date. Give me a bunch of hashes because it's too long for that cell. But if I go for a short date, there's my short date. You probably don't want long dates, kind of an annoying one. We can make this fraction. We could also right click on the cell and format it. And then we have our big menu here. And I could go find number. I want 2 decimal places to match that one. And then I hit OK. So again, that was from a right click format cell, which is the same thing as if you go up here and do more number formats. Also brings you to that. So those are those different ways to do it. Just because of the way this checker works, I have to enter something here. Those 3 are good. These ones, if I give them the right number of decimal points, done again, good. Okay, that is that one.